Are there any issues in particular, aside from fair housing, that you'd like to see Congress push forward in the coming months?
Big money. Big money is corrupting America, paralyzing us from doing what Lincoln said, have a government of and by and for the people, and efforts to obstruct the vitality of our democracy, such as the changes in the Fair Housing, the Voting Rights Act. We need to open up voting to everybody. They need to be encouraged to vote. We need to get this curse of big money off our backs.
Can I say a word too about, I'd love to say a word about the agenda on voting in particular, and this point that the Vice President made about bipartisanship. Sadly now voting rights is a partisan issue.
Yeah.
That's not been the case. I mean, my father-in-law was a Republican governor of Virginia. The Republican Party has such a spectacular voting rights record up until the last 10 years. 15th Amendment to guarantee freed slaves the right to vote. That was Republican Congress. 19th Amendment guaranteeing women the right to vote. Now that was a Democratic president, Wilson, but a Republican Congress. Both parties supported it. When the 26th Amendment was passed to let 20 to 18-year-olds vote, it was under the Nixon administration. It was bipartisan. When the Voting Rights Act passed in '65, it had a lot of Republican votes. Whenever the Voting Rights Act has been reauthorized, it's had a lot of Republican votes, nearly unanimous Republican votes. But after the Supreme Court ruled in the Shelby case, getting rid of the pre-clearance requirement for essentially southern jurisdictions, and we have a fix that is a very reasonable fix to that. We can't get one Republican co-sponsor in the House or the Senate. This party that has been a pro-voting rights party since the 1860s will now not support simple fixes to the Voting Rights Act. It's really only been sort of in the age of Obama that the Republican Party has decided to back away from their history of being a pro-voting rights party. So that is something that I think is incredibly important that we need to do. And the Republican Party, all they have to do is reclaim what has been a really strong part of their history.
Right.
Mr. Vice President, you mentioned her. I'm assuming you meant Hillary Clinton.
I must have.
You must have. She's the only.
Clever, wasn't it?
What made you decide to support her for president? And do you think this email controversy could prevent her from getting the nomination? Are you concerned about that?
I don't think that will affect her. I think she's a very strong candidate. We just had our national DNC meeting in Minneapolis this last week. She spoke and made a really powerful impression. Strong support all over the place. We've got a long time to go before our convention, but I think she's in a very good spot.
And a great track record on fair housing issues.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just a superb track record.
Yeah.
Have you endorsed Secretary Clinton yet?
I did. I endorsed her before she was a candidate. In May of 2014, I spoke and encouraged her to run, and so I've been doing all I can to encourage and be helpful. And I think that she's going to be a fine president. I think she's going to do very well in Virginia and nationally.